It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together, and we'll all sing better outside, just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours forever.
Welcome to the breakfast hour. It's another beautiful day that we are blessed to see. What a privilege, what an honor, what a weekend. It never stopped, it never slowed down, it never paused. It just kept on going. And of course, it's wonderful to be alive. I don't know about the opposite, but I can speak about what I know. And so I want to greet you, whether you're joining us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, wherever you have joined us from. Good morning and welcome. Good morning, Mikey G.
Good morning, Lady Elise, and of course I want to say also extend a warm welcome also to our viewing audience and our listeners on the www.flashpointmedia.ky, our radio that continues to play all day, all night, 24 hours. Of course, this morning, I am blessed to be here. So many things happened on the weekend, good things, bad things. Last week, so many catastrophes take place. Of course, today we talk a little bit more about what's going on in our world today and some of the things that are taking place around our world and how it impacts us on in our daily lives. And so we have to keep abreast of these things that are happening. And so Flashpoint takes it personal. So every Monday we come here, not just Mondays, but today is specifically deemed the World View Day, what's happening in our world, how we interact with this world that we have created for ourselves, and how it's going to serve us in the long run. And so this is where today, Monday, the working week starts today, right here in the Grand K. And I hope it does in the rest of the world as well.
It does. And of course, I saw yesterday where members of the Anglican Church, I believe it's the St. George's Anglican Church, they took to the streets and they had palm branches in their hand, and they had a march along Seafarers Way onto Eastern Avenue. I would have seen members of the clergy as well of the marching band ahead of them, and of course they were clad in different garments and waving palm branches, being Palm Sunday. So yes, what happened?
Palm Sunday. What is Palm Sunday about?
Oh well, we'll have to find out.
You have to find out more about it. All right. So let's when we come back, we possibly just touch a little bit on what Palm Sunday is all about.
Yes.
So we can just broaden the scope and the knowledge of those who don't know what it is celebrating, and so we can see how different persons celebrate in this time and how we understand these things to be. All right. So when we come back, we're going to go for a devotional. Our devotional is brought to us by M&M Construction for all our construction needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands and the rest of the world.
Good morning. This is day 14. Whoever sees his brother in need and shuts up his heart from him, how does the love of God abide in him? 1 John 3 verse 17. Help on the Way, written by Dave Brannon. Our friends were traveling from Georgia to Illinois in a rented van. About halfway to their destination, their van was damaged when it hit a huge hole in the road. Other cars were disabled as well, and it was a rather chaotic scene. While our friends were sorting things out, a police officer offered to drop them off at a nearby McDonald's. When they got there, they sat in a booth to await word about getting the van fixed. Because of their dedication to serving others, they didn't have much money. Meanwhile, they had called to let us know about the difficulty, but there wasn't much we could do except pray and trust that God would watch over them. As they and their children sat in the booth, a man came over with bags of burgers and fries. God told me I should give you some food, he explained as he delivered supper for the hungry family. How many times have we seen God send help on the way? On the flip side, how many times have we felt the urge to help someone and balked at the notion? We are God's hands on earth, created both to receive help and to give it. Do you know someone who needs help on the way? Jesus taught when he lived on this earth how to show love to the lost. Don't be afraid to give a kind touch, no matter how much it may cost. Our quote this morning reads, "A helping hand can lighten another's burden." End quote.
To build your dream home or renovate your space, M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might broke up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, "You feel it, you feel it?" Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
All right, so it's another beautiful Monday, and of course, CoraleeKaren is joining us this morning once again for today's experience right here at Flashpoint.
Magnificent Monday, Mikey G.
Too much talk in the background, when we come in that set sometimes, we are just doing a lot of stuff, guys. So please, it's happening, right? It's happening. Yeah. Good morning, CoraleeKaren. Don't worry. We got you.
Yes, you definitely got me.
Of course, we were commenting, CoraleeKaren, how this weekend was certainly an intense one. And of course, we were going non-stop. And nonetheless, we are thankful that we have survived it.
Oh.
We have survived it. And of course, we are certainly happy to be in this space one more time.
It is magnificent to be among people who it's more than just surface. I agree with Lady Elise. It was an exceptional weekend. I'm going to be definitely intentional when I ask. Half of it we're not going to talk about.
Yes, we're not talking about it. We're not going to talk about it.
Thank you.
I'm agreeing with you. I am agreeing with you. I'm saying there's something that social media must not have. And as we are here, we are not on social media. We are doing the breakfast hour, and we are presenting our programs to persons for beneficial reasons. But there are some things that we do not want to share, and it is all right. I did a game, and it was a game being played at a function yesterday, also Lady Coralie and Lady Elise. And they were playing a game, and it's like one of the questions in the game was, is there, to test your knowledge on how good you are, do you tell your best friend everything, And I was like, no, and if you tell her, you could win these things. No, no, my best friend. I don't know. I could tell you a lot of things, but
I could answer that question having experienced it. But we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not talking about it. All right. Let's keep it like that.
I'm still going through some emotional elements of it.
Yeah. I got that. I got all of that. I feel it. I could say there are moments when you could be tearful, not sad, joyful, but it just brings you to a place where you feel that,
yeah. And it's good to know that people take notice, and so again, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're talking about it, yes.
Well, we had a lot of events actually, as Lady Elise was saying. On Friday, we went out to Clifton Hunter High School and participated in their literacy expo, and it was really, really good, to see teachers, regular persons having the courage to put pen to paper, to put their thoughts, to put their knowledge. We interviewed Chris Murray, and he shared about his observation that persons just didn't know their history. Local Caymanians, persons who are coming on the island, and that was the genesis for him and Dr. I think I don't remember his last name, but they coordinated and wrote the book about Cayman, the history, who are the heroes, and what the contribution they made to bringing Cayman to where it is. And we had other persons that we spoke to. Paul, he is an interventionist. When you see troubled teenagers, his role is to have conversations with him. And it was fascinating because he said these young people would have created their character already by the time they reach, well, certainly after age 6, 7. And so when he gets them at 13, 14, it's to almost relearn the negative space. And what he does is do it with compliment. And he told us a story about this young lady who would come and visit him in his office, and for the whole hour would berate him. And with each of those occasions, he met it with compliment. And now she comes to his office because she wants to be affirmed. And it was very interesting to have that conversation with Paul. We also spoke to In and Out of Love, Sasha Smalling. Her book she says it's a bit racy, you know. And so, with that being said, she couldn't display the book, but it is available on Amazon.
A little bit racy. I don't understand the racy part.
Racy meaning that it was explicit, or it is explicit.
And is it skewed to a particular
adults? So it's more R-rated. You know, and so being the responsible person.
Did you have to get one of those books that I could have one?
You would have to
yes.
We'd probably have to vet you first.
Yes, we would definitely need to vet you to determine whether or not you're fit to read the book. But it's a compilation of her poems, you know, with about really, as it says, in and out of love. It was just a beautiful time with the team at Clifton Hunter. We also interviewed, is it Kimberly? Boy, I'm horrible
and
with names.
listen, we have to share those highlights of those interviews with our audience, because certainly,
it was good.
You know, it's something when the team of Flashpoint, it's almost like we have tentacles. And of course, when we went there and Coralee shared those videos with me, I was like, you know, the sense of community spirit and the excitement that was felt in the atmosphere. I certainly felt it, and I was not there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So we have to share.
I was feeling it too.
Yeah,
and I wasn't there, so I definitely.
And then on Sunday we joined with the team, the Ebenezer's Sunday.
Yeah, I you know, guys. Well, you know what, we are doing two different events at the same time. It seems like you are boogieing one side of the world, and I'm boogieing somewhere else.
And the tentacles that you spoke about, right, Elisa? That we're and the point to our viewers and our listeners that we're here for you. We are in the community, so if you want us to be a part of your special occasion, your event, please reach out to us. We're here to facilitate the services that you would need for those occasions,
and to bring a little spice, you know, to the life that we live.
A whole heap of spice.
A whole heap of spice.
A whole heap of spice.
Hot like a pepper. Yeah, of course.
So I know you have 3 videos that you.
Well, actually, the topic, what we want to talk a little bit on today is, you know, how we are being. I don't want to use just the broad word controlled, but I want to use the concept of being herded.
Yes.
You know, and so I don't want to just use control. Control is such a broad word, and it sounds, you know, like when you read the Bible, Genesis 3:16, and it says, "And man shall, and your husband shall rule over you." The word rule just sounds wrong. Women just go crazy when they say rule. Oh, we don't want no rule. I'm sorry, I'm troubling. Not troubling my ladies today. But these words are very triggering words.
It's a holiday today from that.
These words are triggering words like rule and control and submission, submissiveness. These are very tricky words, you know?
Tricky
words. So, but then when we look at herding, we want to talk a little bit about that. So we want to touch the video. So we want to look at, and then we want to go over to Dominica and to check out that earthquake that ravished that town.
Well,
it wasn't an earthquake.
No, it's a collapse.
Sorry, my mistake, guys. I'm associating building collapsing with earth tremors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, it's not earthquake. I think we are looking at poor construction.
The nightclub that was the roof collapsed.
We are looking at poor construction now. That's what we are looking at.
Yeah.
A poorly constructed structure that housed so many people. So let's go to our first setup. And of course, let's take a 5-second, and then when we come back, we start getting into our first lineup for this morning.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't go to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might broke up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors. In an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
Of course, welcome back to the breakfast. Good morning to our listeners or viewers right here on Flashpoint Media. Of course, if you're joining us on our radio, our web radio, it's at www.flashpointmedia.ky. All right, so you listen to our radio all day. This program, while it is being streamed live on our social media platforms, our YouTube, Facebook, and our Instagram, is also being streamed also on our web radio. So wherever you are in the world, take Flashpoint with you all week, every day of the week, all year round. And if you're joining us yesterday, it was such an awesome day. Hey, some wicked song play yesterday, no man. Anyways, let's get into that. But of course, we have some stuff we want to share with you this morning.
We were wondering, Mikey G, where your headspace was.
Oh, my headspace is... You know what? I'm gonna get my bottle of water. I'm gonna drink some water and I'm gonna do this one.
And chill, right? Yeah.
I'm chilling this morning.
I'm telling you. Well-packed weekend, and that's what it's about. It's making sure that you're present at those occasions that matter.
We did two weekends. We did two parties, a 16 and a 18-year-old birthday. And so the 18-year-old ended up with a birthday gift of a brand new car.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That happened. Okay. Yeah, man. Brand new car wait. And so I was playing, happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year for another year. Wah! The prizes were open and it's a brand new car key given to her and everybody disappeared. We don't need to see where the car was. It's parked on front and we're all the way in the back and everybody just, I tell you, it was a whirlwind. And then everybody came back dancing, happy birthday, yeah, my friend. And we went on, had a wonderful time. It was crazy, man. It was awesome. And so I want to big up my friend Marcus and Kendra. Them big up yourself, Marcus. Big up Kendra. And of course, our good friend. Yeah, they had some wonderful times. On the weekend. I met
Mikey
a young
G on the mic, right?
Mikey G on the microphone. Hold on, yes. Big up. And so we had a young man yesterday who had his birthday. He was 16 yesterday. Yeah, happy birthday, sweet 16. These are, so the girls they would want to say, but happy birthday, sweet 16 to the boys as well. It is a 16-year-old birthday. Of course, the young men become men at 12. So we are actually have gotten our mandate at 12 years of age. And of course, we are ready for this life. That's why it begins like that. And so Shane, Michael had his birthday yesterday, and I'm telling you, right here, we had some wonderful poolside party and all that, Man, it was wicked. And so they had a great time, and indeed, Flashpoint represented.
I'm impressed, Mikey G, because usually you would return without your voice. You would have left your voice at
I didn't have to, I didn't, no.
At least perfecting your art so that you're not able to take yourself through those occasions and still preserve your voice. And so congratulations.
And we're having another one next week. This weekend coming up. We have two events planned for this weekend coming up. And so this one might make, I let the music speak sometime. Anyway, let's get into our videos this morning. Of course, let's have the first video on the screen, Lady Elise.
If you were the devil, how would you destroy the young mind? ChatGPT, if you were the devil, how would you destroy the young minds of the next generation without them even knowing it? If I were the devil, I wouldn't come with violence. I'd come with convenience. I'd give them everything they wanted and strip them of everything they needed. I'd make them feel connected, but completely alone, endlessly entertained, but quietly empty. I'd blur the lines between truth and opinion until nothing meant anything. I'd teach them to chase dopamine, not purpose, to worship self, but loathe who they are. I wouldn't destroy them with war. I'd destroy them with apathy. I'd keep them distracted, numb, scrolling, always scrolling. I'd dismantle the family by redefining it. Make fathers optional, mothers exhausted, and children confused. I'd hand them a phone before they could speak in full sentences. And I'd watch their minds rot slowly, sweetly, silently. And the most brilliant part? They'd never know it was me. They'd call it freedom.
That's the reality.
Wow.
That is what's happening.
Wow.
No. What got me was before they can speak,
Yes.
hand them a device.
Give them the cell phone. Give them an iPad. Give them something to keep them distracted.
And I always observe, and I'm fascinated that they can sit down, have the iPad, and they're scrolling through. They know how to find their programs, and I'm like,
Listen, but that's not it. That's not only it.
Yes.
I would go to functions and young people don't know how to interact with each other.
Yes.
But the unfortunate thing though is that we have been co-opted into that scheme as well, because when you think about, it's like everybody has a device or two, and when you are in a setting, you go to a restaurant, people are not talking to each other. They're on their phones. Their friends are not beside them. They're 20 million miles away. Yeah.
And the person beside you is a complete stranger. You might say, who's the person beside you? I don't know. But you know the person 20 million miles away. And the person who's sitting beside you, who you have been interacting with or should be interacting with, you don't have a clue who that person is.
But that's the opportune time to do it. So we're missing the moment, So if you don't know the person, they're sitting beside you. Why not put down the device and get to know the person who... I went to a function, don't know the people them from Adams. And you know me, I'm going to be chatting.
Working on it.
One of my friend who invited was like, these people, I've never met them before, but then I know what their profession was, the children they have, what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, and we were there chatting, I'm not saying I do it all the time, people, because guess what? I have my devices too. But it was good to see the responses of people when you show an interest. And everybody was talking, and I got invited to their other program that they were having, because it was a choir that they absolutely amazing. And so I was keenly interested in what it is that they were doing. And how to get people to talk?
Yeah.
Just touch on a topic that they are intimate with. Women talk about their children, men talk about their cars, and you have them flowing.
I think it changed a little bit now. Men talking about lots of different things too, But anyways, what I wanted to say right here is that ChatGPT did this. It asked the question, if you were the devil, what would you do? The trick is, what ChatGPT did was to lay out the devil's plan of distracting the children and let them not learn about God and destroy the family unit, make fathers optional. Do you see fathers are being optional? We don't need any men. It's a popular story. I'm not going that direction right now, but we don't need the man.
Women exhausted.
And then the woman who don't need the man didn't realize that. And this is the part of it now. This is the part of it that stings like a son ever. The woman who don't need the man has taken a man's role. So she's not the helpmate anymore, but he is. And so we have lots of men who are helpmates these days. The woman need you, so you are the helpmate, and she's the... Yeah. And so we look at this switching off the roles. She's exhausted now without a helpmate, who is the so-called man. And now this is a problem because that helpmate won't help you at all, because you needed to be the helpmate and he needed to be the head of the home. And so this is what we are looking at. So ChatGTP just laid out the devil's plan. Are you seeing this in reality happening today?
It is, and you know the truth of it is that, if I may say, the Bible sort of gave us the heads up long before, and you would have seen how cunning the devil is. And through the ages, it hasn't changed. His intent hasn't changed. His approach has. So, you know, when you talk about in the children of Israel, and they got distracted by the nations around them, and despite being told not to, in every dispensation, there has always been turn your eyes upon Jesus. And once you do so, then everything else will fall into place. But we have gotten so, we've moved our eyes. If you think about Peter in his walk to Jesus, he was fine for a minute, but then he got caught up with what's going on around him, and he took his eyes off the source of his strength and his sustenance. And that's when it starts. You know what is also interesting from that video? It says, I'm not going to cause them, they're going to be self-absorbed, but
Hold on. Full of yourself. That
Yes.
in the mirror all the time, you're always checking if you're, and then you cannot go out unless you get a tummy tuck, or you get a fix up at the back, and your lips have to thicker or something. Your eyes can't bear anything. You have to have on these big umbrellas on your eyes to look like you're seeing anybody, and you it's just ridiculous, you know. And then we have found ourselves so fake people, and what, you know, I say this one all the time. So many women, and I don't like to use this because it sounds like I'm against women when I say this. So many women want a real man, and when you get the woman that you have everything and are false and fake, it's impossible to want something real when every part of you don't have nothing genuine, and no genuine anything, nothing genuine. All of it is somebody pump silicone everywhere, and you are now being devastated. The men are now being traumatized by, you know.
again,
All right,
it
so
is
I'm just
because they know how to get to us. I mean, we
self-absorbed, that we are cutting ourselves up and killing ourselves, taking pills and all sort of things, and creating all sort of havoc, and we want to look beautiful for how long? For how long?
And then, but then again, the focus is on the outer, and there are so many people who, and we heard of a popular dance hall artist who was near death. Her words, that she almost died.
Yes.
And only because she's reconstructing herself. And so in essence, God didn't do a good job of it. And so she's helping God to her own detriment. And sometimes you stop and you wonder, do people really, to what end?
I'm gonna make a blanket statement right now. Every person who participate in these surgeries are of the devil, and this is his intention for them. I'm not even going to go there. Now, somebody going to say, Mikey G, what of a cancer patient who had cut off the breast and all that? That's a different thing altogether. That person needs that surgery.
Listen, that is a totally different conversation.
No, I know, but I'm making a statement now. Every person who participates.
You're really repeating it?
I'm saying it. Every person who participates in these body fit out parts and properties without needing these surgeries, and you're doing cosmetic surgeries, the devil is leading you into his own little den.
So can I ask you a question though?
Shoot out.
You're sure you want to answer?
Ask me, please. Ask me, because I know this to a straight right and thump up over people a while ago.
Yes, you did a double a while ago. But you talk about beautiful. Could it be that all that reconstruction is to make her more attractive to
who?
men?
To who? Of course.
Men.
But I listen. I know one thing. When you know what? Let's not get into that. Let's go into the next video. Let's go into the next video. The next video speaks a little bit more, and I want to say this, that what we looked at is how the enemy is cunning,
Yes.
crafty, right? He allows us to do all the things that seemingly we like and want to do, and tell us that it's our idea, and we do it. All right. So we want to look at the herding of humankind. We have a message, and we know what we're saying, that tells you that you must have your own garden, you must plant your own food. And this is 160 years ago. We know this information. 150 if we should count it back a little bit. And we knew that we should have our own farmlands and all our things, that we would have planted our own garden. You know, the Bible speaks about herb yielding seeds, plants and trees that yield seeds. Is a very important part of God's plan. The trees that don't yield any seeds, whose plan is that? Alright, so let's go now and look at a video that now makes, we're talking about eat what you grow what you eat. And at one point, this thing was not legal for many countries to do at one point. It was not created, it was sort of like sidelined for a little bit. But let's know a little bit more about this concept.
And just to say, Mikey G, that you made a reference that it has always been biblical, that we should, it's by the sweat of your brow, you should till the soil.
The Bible speaks about the tilling of the soil.
Yeah, and so that's how we should eat. And so it's unfortunate, again, that we have come to where we are in this century.
All right, shoot, run that video for me with the young man talking.
Now for me to share my organic seeds with my neighbor. Yes, it's illegal.
Pull it up again, ladies. Pull it up again. Pull it up again, please. Put it back. Thank you. Just put it back.
Now for me to share my organic seeds with my neighbor. Yes, it's illegal by law. They even created now a law to give the international organizations rights through patenting of their seeds. Foreigners to patent their seeds here. And those are the seeds you must use, and you're not supposed to use any other seeds. And that's why there's that discussion of fake seeds, fake what. Today, organic seeds, Lynn, are called fake seeds. Because they are forcing us to go into the new world order agenda of what we call genetically modified seeds, GMO seeds. GMO seeds are lab-created seeds. They produce food, but with it comes so many factors that raise eyebrows. Number one, Lynn, if you plant GMO seeds, for example, maize or tomatoes, you cannot replant the seeds once you harvest. So what does that tell you? You have to go back to that guy who's patented the seeds and buy from him. You and I, probably, even if it's not our parents, your grandparents, have that small farm in Ushago, where you're harvesting maize, and if they harvest 100 bags, they will keep 1 bag to replant in the next season. So with GMO seeds, you cannot do that. So that means they can decide whether they can sell it to you or not sell.
All right, there you go. All right, so this is something that is here. It's not going away. It's here right now, and it is, when we talk about these things, how foolish we can feel right now as a people who knew these things 100 years ago or more.
But can I share an experience with you? I was looking for grapes over the weekend, and I wanted seeded grapes. I wanted grapes with seed, and I was looking. I don't think I found any. There are so many variety of seedless grapes.
When did you hear the word organic? Organic. Where did that word come from? Actually,
The origin of organic. Organic is good though.
No, but where did it come from? If everything was naturally made.
Well, that means that there are some things that are not naturally made, and
there are fake foods, and there are real foods.
Well, that's true.
We just talk about the fake people a while ago. Now we're going to food now.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and it is a crisis that we are in. Dangerous crisis, you know.
Is fake. But then the biblical element of it is that the devil has always
Counterfeited.
created the
Counterfeited.
You know, you think about, so everything that is not natural is a counterfeit of the original.
Yes.
And so what we ought to be mindful of is, and here's the other thing, you know, it's easy. So when you talk about your experience, it's easy to access those things that are fake.
Fake foods, fake
They are more
everything.
popular. They are more
Yes.
accessible.
And cheaper as well,
And
in terms
cheaper.
of, so when
Yes.
I'm looking at the two, you know, do you have the
Many things are
resources?
more expensive.
Yeah, do you have the resources?
But look at
And
it. But look at it. There was a time when vegetables was not a thing, you know. Vegetable foods and these things were cheap. You get they have a saying, you could take a stone dog.
Mm.
It wouldn't be anything that value so much money. So the farmers weren't making a lot of money from it. But you know what? One of the things that I was talking to a friend yesterday, and they said that, you know, when you planted fruit trees some years ago, many years ago in the States, and persons, you know, if you notice, people don't plant. Look around Grand Cayman, and if you notice how many fruit trees being planted anywhere at all.
Mm.
All right, if you go to other countries, maybe in the first world countries that are developed, look how many fruit trees are being planted in the neighborhoods. Not many fruit trees are planted.
But I will say to you, Michael, there was a item that indicated 90% of the food in Cayman is imported.
That's what I'm saying. But Cayman is an island that don't have a very strong farming community in that sense. But they do have farming, and the foods are good. I'm telling you, because I buy from the farmers market my produce when I want to have real food.
The real food.
Well, I must take this opportunity to say a big shout out to Sister O'Connor,
Yes.
Sister Donnet O'Connor. And of course, I had the pleasure and the privilege to visit a booth. It was a Donnet's farm.
Yes.
And of course, he had fever grass, a lot lot of plants. I said, "You have a green thumb?" But she says, "I like to plant."
Awesome.
And so she had a variety of produce right there. And of course, I was able. I got a fever grass that I'm nurturing.
And so, if you notice what you're looking at, urbanization takes place and reduce the land space around you, so you can't plant anything. So people are now living in little cubicles with vast land space everywhere, all over the place. We don't see these things, you know. We don't notice that we are being herded in a mindset, that we are being put in this, you know. I grew up on a farm and I had a lot of chickens. My farm, 10,000 chickens every 6 weeks were being harvested from that farm. 10,000 chickens are being harvested, and that's a small farm in comparison to so many farms, right? But when I look at our living condition these days, all the time I see people in this chicken coop. I see people living in the chicken coop that I used to go and plant, you know. And so this is what I want to say to you. That when I listen to the conversation that the men came around and chopped down all the fruit trees that people had planted in their yards, and then claimed that the bugs from them would have affected the stock, the farming produce that would have been produced on the normal farms. It tells you that somebody was cunning enough to cut down your tree that you have to go and buy the food from him. And it was a serious thing, but
it's the economy of it, you know, it's the economy of supply.
If you plant trees, you might not come at the store so often to get mangoes. You might not go for apples. You might not, if you have your own tree, you might not go for oranges. You might not go for some grapes. If you have your own tree, you might just get your cucumber from outside. If you have your own tree, you might get some peas and some corns if you have your own tree.
Yes.
You know? And so this is not being promoted because this, when we talk about Big Pharma, he's a very interesting fellow. His intention is two reasons. Two reasons. His intention is to either keep us on. Let's not preempt the conversation. Shoot the next video quickly because we have limited time to go. I think we are almost out of time. So let's get the next video up before. Let's see if
that contains a vaccine or vaccine material.
Don't understand the underlying need or logic.
If a food source has a human vaccine in it, we would deem that a pharmaceutical in Tennessee to make sure that we don't overdose or underdose that food source.
I mean, how's this going to play out?
House Bill 1894 classifies any food that contains a vaccine or vaccine material as a drug under the Tennessee Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Defines vaccine or vaccine material as a substance intended for use in humans to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against disease that is authorized or approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration. Mr. Chairman, I'll answer questions.
Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
If you can't say anything and you can't say ouch.
It's scary. It's absolute. Do you recall there were instances where the rice and cabbage, when heat was applied to it, it was revealed to be plastic
stuff?
Yes. And I'm like, so here's the thing too. You're buying these things.
So you're buying cosmetic food.
They look to be authentic. But then when you deep further, you realize that it's worse than GMO, because it seems that they're using substance to give you the right impression, and at the end of the day, it's to your health.
Well, at this point, you realize
you're going to be consuming these horrible things, and then you're going to get sick, and then you're going to have to be on some medication to try and figure it out. But then you will never be able to identify the source, because it couldn't be your food. It couldn't be the rice. It can't be the cabbage that you're eating, because these are things that are supposed to be edible.
CoraleeKaren, I know this might seem that there is no connection, but when you came this morning and you spoke about the literacy expo that you witnessed over there at the Clifton Hunter High School, it made me realize that we too need to be literate about the decisions we make, and how Mikey G coined it well, that we are herded. We are fed this narrative, and pretty soon we are so along the narrative that we don't know how to decipher what is real and what is fake.
Have mercy.
And that is a challenge that we have as individuals. As he mentioned, all of us want to live in an apartment. I mean, you talk about a yard space, and pretty soon, as you mentioned, we can't even plant the stuff. We have no alternative but to purchase these things that we are not sure, and we have to eat to survive.
The literacy is we now have to be reading our labels, because they are bright enough to say whether or not it is GMO. And so you're forced to be literate about your buying habits.
So you're talking about food. You're talking about, instead of we're to school when we talk about being literate in reading and writing, and so now food literacy is a thing.
Yes,
it has to be. It has to be for our own consciousness and our health as well.
So now we need to name our programs. Like we have our financial advisor who comes on a Tuesday. Maybe it could be a financial literacy.
But I am happy for the Clifton Hunter High School who brought this concept of not literate. I'm a vocational ed, right? And I was teaching at this location, at this local school at one point. And you know what? There's a separation in faculty where the vocational section of the school seem to be the lower section of the school that is downtrodden. It's like those persons who do vocational eds are the least persons within the school. And it was taught to the students like that. And so the elementary, the youngsters, when they're interacting, they interact with the prejudice that they are of the upper class and these are the lower class students.
Yes.
When in rights, the vocational aids were actually not necessarily upper class.
But these are the people who can go out.
But these were the real people of the society that was necessary to make societies. The vocational aids are the ones who build the societies. That everybody who look down on those persons can actually feel themselves established. I go there because I say laziness has become ingrained in our DNA. And we are becoming lazier every day. And so we have been taught and fed laziness. And this laziness comes from, you ever see these men who are so dainty, these little sissy men, who, if you say to them, you need to go out and mow the lawn, I can pay somebody to do it. You're a lazy, you're just a sissy guy, right? And so I know you can pay somebody to do it. But because you can't do it, it makes you less of a man. I'm just telling you right off the bat. You could be a multi-millionaire. You're not that person. And I'm saying that because what this did to you is that if you take you out of that little chicken coop that you live in, you can't survive anywhere else. without your maids and your butlers, you can't survive. You might break your nails walking through an open space.
Mikey G.
So Mikey G, on that note, I know there's so much, we touch on these things, and I want the listeners to go beyond the surface of this conversation, because so often I even find myself caught up. A simple thing as taking time and that moment in peace to say, I depend on God, or Lord, please. That moment, we don't have it anymore. You know, the moment we're up, we have our devices. There are so many things, so many apps for our health, for our diet, for all these things. And if we just pause
on the phone
to create that space that we can connect to what truth is, and the literacy, as we mentioned. But as we get out of here, we must share this feature, and we are sorry that each time we have the feature about what's happening in our world.
In our world a little bit. Well, it's what's happening in our world. I want to just add this little bit right in there, Lady Elise, that we want our viewers and our listeners to, when you watch it again, just go back and listen to the context of the conversation. The food is actually considered a pharmaceutical drug. I didn't want us to miss that. The food is considered a pharmaceutical drug, and of course they are drugging you through your food.
Yes.
When you see these things, I am upset with my leadership at some levels where we should have been forward thinkers, but the devil has got in there as well and has done this. Bible says the enemy, wheat and the tares grow together until the days of harvest. But what you realize is that the wheats are at the head at some point. Sorry, the tears are my mistake. The tears are actually inside the place where they shouldn't be, and they're the ones calling the shots. And we are looking at these things because we should have had these things all worked out. We shouldn't be dependent on anybody giving us our GMO foods and all these things. I'm upset. I must be upset because I know this information from a little boy. Growing up, somebody said, Mikey G, then why you don't do it? And yes, Flashpoint might necessarily need to go forward now. This says there's 2 times to do something important. 10 years ago is when you're supposed to do it. And the next best time is today.
Is now.
So now, let's start. If we never start already, let's be mindful of this and start. I just want to say that, Lady Elise. I know you want to segue into what's going on in the Dominican Republic and what took place over there. Yes, and we are about to get out of the studio. So let's go with this one. All right.
Folded in Santo Domingo as the roof of the jet-set nightclub collapsed during a lively merengue concert, claiming 226 lives, including a Costa Rican national. Among the victims were former MLB stars Octavio Dotel and Tony Enrique Blanco Cabrera, leaving a community in mourning. Rescue teams managed to save 189 people, but the pain lingers as families await the return of their loved ones. Health officials are working tirelessly to identify victims, using biometric data to match the deceased. As the nation grieves, Questions remain about the cause of this devastating collapse.
Wow.
Yeah, so very unfortunate. I found it disturbing though that I read on social media one person's reaction to this was that these people should have been in a church.
Yeah, and that was just unfortunate that somebody could say something like that. And I know that person pride themselves to be a good Christian, and that was a wicked a wicked statement to make.
It's insensitive.
That's very insensitive, and that's wicked. I don't care how Christian you are or feel. This is just a wicked statement to make. So what if the church? What if the church collapsed? What if it was the church that happened to? What would you say then?
Yes.
But I think.
Sorry. What if it was a church building?
Reverend, Michael,
that building that we call the church building.
Professed persons who are followers of Christ. That is not the sentiment that would be Christ-like. So I would maybe want to explore a little bit more, the term Christian, because a lot of times we wear the badge.
Yes.
But we don't really accept it. And so
we don't understand what the badge actually signifies and some of the roles that we should have. Those badges.
Correct. And so for those persons who are grieving the loss of a lover, it doesn't matter. It's the same. To lose someone is devastating, irrespective of the circumstances that caused it. And so the position that certainly we would want to take is to express our condolences to the individuals who are now left to grieve the loss of their loved ones. So, irrespective, we ought to be the ones lending the support. So it should be a means of activating those agencies, the Red Cross, the ADRAs, to be there to support these individuals in this time of need. So again, we ought to be mindful of how we say things and when we say it.
Yes.
Because that is what is going to be the evidence of our empathy or sympathy to individuals when they find themselves in those circumstances. Lady Elise, it's that time of the morning.
Yes, it's time for the news actually, and of course, Mikey G.
And I think what we're going to do is I think we're just going to just pack it up here at this point, and we want to tell everybody thanks. I think we'll go to. If you are going to hear the news this morning, it's going to be on www.flashpointmedia.ky. It's going to be on our radio. We're not going to be doing the news here online this morning. We're going to do our news on radio. So right after we have ended the stream, we're going to go to the news, and we're going to thank everyone for participating in this morning's experience right here on Flashpoint. And indeed, we had a packed morning. It was interesting enough.
It was. So remind persons to make it magnificent. It's the purpose of being a part of the morning or your morning is to help you to start the day with magnificence on a Monday.
Magnificent Monday. I want to say a special good morning to all listeners over there in St. Lucia. Lady Lucy over there, you and your family want to say hi from over here in Grand Cayman. And wherever you're listening from, want to wish you all the best. May the Lord bless you richly, abundantly, and may you really, truly have a magnificent Monday.
Alright guys, so tata, like, share, subscribe, and of course hit the notification bell that whenever time one of these programs go out, you get it first. Get the CoraleeKaren. Yes. Alright, so we're still there?
Yes, but we are getting out of here, and as we get out, I'm just reminding the listeners that if you have not planned what you're doing for the summer yet, the mission trip to Belize, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are, you can participate in this. The cost is 1,500 CI, and it includes the airfare, the food, and insurance. It's this 27th of July to the 10th of August 2025. Of course, we will be having persons, representatives, to share more about this trip with you. So on that note, tata, see you again soon.
Have yourself a wonderful day, guys, and the rest of the week. Of course, tomorrow is our Financial Tuesday, and so join us for Financial Matters tomorrow. CoraleeKaren, just say it. Say it. Please say it.
Magnificent Monday.
Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together.
You're listening to Flashpoint Radio.